Hey, this is Brendan before the episode with a quick note about the way this game works. We're playing a game that we'll introduce in a moment, but something you should know about it is that it asks you to make song playlists for your characters before you start playing, because there's a couple of mini games within the game itself that asks you, hey, play this song, share it with your friends, enjoy it. Complicating that for us is that we made a podcast that we're releasing. So we've got 3 scenes, one of which is in the episode you're about to hear, where someone references a song that someone out there in the world has made that we didn't want to go through the rigmarole of asking, hey, can we put your song on our actual play podcast for free? Devin has recorded original music in the style of the songs that we played for one another when we were playing the game. So we're going to, long story short, you're going to hear the names of songs, which I'll put in the descriptions, but you're going to hear different music that's like the OATHSWORN music you've heard throughout the show. I'm rambling a little bit. I'm going to let the episode start. I just wanted to clarify that before you started listening. Thanks. Goodbye.
An entry in the annals from Nebane Palisade, Lore Keeper of the Consonant Legion. Long ago, my obsession was the stories of chosen long past, whose great deeds and terrible power changed the course of history. Some laid to rest in solemn tombs, others buried only in fable and legend. These days, I concern myself with people, regular people, living irregular lives, thrust upon them by strange circumstances. And yet, regular people, doing regular things, waking up, working, eating, reading, crying, singing, dreaming, by some miracle, changed the course of history. If not for all Zelsha'el, then certainly for each other. Sarah Colley once urged us, to stand together, to look out for one another. I was struck dumb in that moment. Called to action by a chosen. A request made out of desperation. Seeing the ability in we unchosen mortals, who pass as easily as the wind blows, to do as she would, but could not. Here at Skydagger, we earned a moment's rest, a chance to mourn, to rebuild, and to reflect on all that brought us to this place. And while most are simply happy to be alive, I wonder, was there more we could have done? Others we could have saved? Other paths we could have taken? When we felt we had no choice, was that really true? I am undecided. But I am also conscious that history will judge us far more effectively than I can. May these annals, may our triumphs and our mistakes serve to prove our capability. That is the truth I record today. I hope to record the truth tomorrow, too. After all, our story is not yet finished.
Hi. Hey, you know what we never do? Is like say like, hi, here's who we are. Does everyone want to like introduce themselves and say like who they are and what they're all about, and if there's other stuff that they can plug or anything like that? Do people want to do that?
Just a little gift. The end. A little plug as a gift.
Yeah, well, not really a gift, more of just like, I didn't really have a cohesive thought process about it.
I mean, that's why they call it a present.
Until oh, no.
Leave.
Devin, don't.
Leave now.
No, don't leave. We have to do the episode with you.
All my characters die. Bye.
Spectacular. It doesn't sound like anyone's opposed, so I'll go ahead and say, welcome to the last episode of OATHSWORN. I'm Brendan McLeod. You can find me at sulcata.itch.io. We never do this. Do you want to go in Discord order? That usually works.
Is that me next then?
Yeah, that would be you.
Yeah, I am Devin. You can find me on the internet at Devin Decibel most places. I'm a composer. You can check out my music at devindecibel.bandcamp.com, and I'm a game designer. You can check out my games at devindecibel.itch.io.
Yeah, Gavin.
My name is Gavin. I'm a freelance editor. I edit novels and role-playing games. You can find the stuff that I do at mixsuccess.com.
Kris.
I'm Kris Allison. You can find me on Twitter at KNALLISO, and sometimes voice acting in places, like in season 3 of the Sheridan tapes. Go listen to that if you enjoy being scared.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And Matthew.
Hi, I'm Matthew Guzdial. You can find me at Matthew Guz. You should play Fathom, the game that Brennan and I designed, which you can find at Sulcata. I should have had this earlier. Sulcata.itch.io/fathom. And I've got a book on procedural content generation via machine learning. And if you like textbooks about making things for games with machine learning, you should check that out.
Matthew, have you ever done graffiti that says Guz was here?
No, but my sisters are much more into like the Guzzy name. Like one of my two sisters teaches middle school, and they refer to her as Queen Guzzy.
Could be worse.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I had a number of people who called me Guz or Guzzy in high school, and they don't anymore, so that's good.
Okay, good. Yeah. I hear you.
Also, yeah, play Fathom. It's fun. I got to be a conspiracy tuber wizard. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Lots more work to do on that. On the game, not your wizard. Today, we're going to play a different game. We're going to play a world-ending game, a game currently in playtest that's probably out by the time that you're listening to this, by Everest Pipkin. You can find their work at everestpipkin.itch.io, including the spectacular The Ground itself, which we played to kick off this campaign. It seems only right that we play a game like this to wrap it up. I've got a bunch of the text that opens up world-ending game in the Miro board. I figured maybe we could take turns reading that, again, going in Discord order to sort of set the preface, and then we'll start setting some scenes. Does that sound good to everyone?
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Does everyone see the take turns reading space down sort of at the bottom?
Yep.
At the polar end of our Miro board? One of the reasons that I wanted to do it in Miro is that, hey, if you're thinking about running a tabletop game online, I'm not paid to shill their stuff, but think about using Miro.com to make a free whiteboard, because it rules to like have all of the stuff from every encounter that we've done across this campaign. Plus, I think up here in the top right, Kaio has done a relationship map of the members of the Legion, which rules.
Kaio.
Chris has done the
Kris has
I
done
didn't.
this.
I didn't even blink at that either. I was just like, yeah, I did.
When,
Yeah, I
when
haven't looked
Kaio
at
was
this yet.
dying.
Yeah, we're in
When
the magic
Kaio was
circle.
dying.
Kaio did this.
Up on that mountaintop.
Yeah, this is what they're
dying
I need
breath.
everyone to know. This is the truth. This is what happened.
I don't think I've looked at this.
Fuck the annals of the Legion. This is the truth of what happened.
It's true. It's true.
Oh, man. This is really good. I like this a lot.
What is the connection between Kaio and a Budalance that says "you are dangerous" mean?
That feels self-explanatory. It's mutual.
It says what it does on the tin. I love that. Excellent, excellent, excellent. What a game. All right, I will go ahead and lead this off. This is a series of small games that you can play to end a campaign or story for when it is time to say goodbye. World-ending game is cinematic. It will discuss the camera, the lighting, the mood, the frame. It seeks to emulate falling action towards closure. It understands the power of a series of images and the impression of a final shot. It wants to wrap your story into a sequence that will haunt you even as you leave it. Devin, can you read the next block?
Oh, I need to scroll back over to where I was looking at the relationship map. Number 2.
Yes, please.
Think about screenplays and films, or the last episode of a season of television when you know it will not be renewed. Think about saying goodbye to friends who have moved away. Think about the last days of summer vacation. Think about funerals. Think about the restaurant that closed all those years ago and the noodles they used to serve. Think about the best birthday party you ever had. Think about putting off a last chapter of a book until tomorrow. Think about grief and relief. Think about the end of a world. Think about feeling or emerging from a movie theater into a dark parking lot under the stars.
Gavin, do you want to go next?
World-ending game is written to serve as the last session of a campaign in any system. It should come after the finale, whatever that is for your table. The dragon defeated, the government felled, finals week over, the great mystery solved. World-ending game does not have mechanics for deciding big story outcomes. Instead, it offers a series of scenes and vignettes towards closure.
Kris.
Non-GM players embody the point of view of their characters. They also have agency in setting scenes and events while they are the active player, as detailed in the rules of each game, called endings. The GM takes on the role of the director. The director controls the camera in the world. They also embody any non-player characters present in the scenes.
Matthew.
Playing the endings. Going around the table in a circle, players pick and create scenes according to the rules of each ending. A standard game will have a few scenes led by each player, but you may choose to end the game once everyone has gone at least once, or keep going until it feels right. You'll probably know when you are done, but the director ultimately holds the power to end the story. The director goes twice. First, to begin the session, and last, with the final scene, but will be involved in every scene.
The director begins the game with any one of the endings. After this scene is over, the player on the director's right, we'll probably go in Discord order, then selects a new ending of their choice, becoming the active player. The current active player always has narrative control over in setting the scene and how their character acts inside of it, as detailed by the rules of each ending.
Any other players that enter that scene have control over their own character's actions inside the scene. The director controls any non-player characters as well as the camera and has the power to end scenes. Once a scene has concluded, the circle continues to the right, the next player becoming the active player. Players may also elect to skip their turn, waiting for the circle to come back to them.
Generally, the active player remains the person who started the scene until its conclusion. But some endings switch scene control mid-game, as detailed by the rules of each ending. Dice are used sparingly within world-ending game, but may always be re-rolled for a different result. This is because you are not on one last adventure, and there are not any new stakes. You are saying goodbye, and it deserves to be the right farewell.
In world-ending game, the GM takes on the role of the director. They control the camera, pacing, lighting, framing, and focus of the world, as well as when to move on from scenes. The director also controls any non-player characters in the scene. At any point in a scene, even in the middle of a piece of narration or dialogue, if appropriate, the director may interject with a camera direction.
A camera direction could include a name or a description of the direction, what the camera is doing, any new scene information added by the direction, any new aesthetic choices changing how the scene appears to the viewer, and how this direction affects the scene. The director can move the world and non-player characters around the players during these directions, but should not take actions for players.
Just to interject before I go, obviously we're playing after a big ensemble game. If there is an opportunity for someone to play a character that they might usually play, or even just picking someone up just because it makes sense, then obviously we'll do that. Every table has a different play style. Look at that. But this game is written to be played fluidly, with few pauses for rule checks or, well, I think this character might, or but what if hesitations. If you're not sure how a particular mechanic works, it is better to just roll with it than stop to make sure you're playing it right. Many of the following games are little more than conversational prompts. It is always okay for a conversation to move in an unexpected direction or integrate new rules as you make them.
Again, this game is modeled after the act of making a film. If, at the end of a scene, you feel it needs to be struck, it can simply be left on the cutting room floor. Edits are an integral part of this kind of storytelling. There is no game mechanic for edits. This is because the difference between a line or veil being crossed and an edit being wanted may be fuzzy at times.
If you feel that something needs to change, you may pause a scene at any point or wait until it concludes. Either way, you should talk with your table out of character. Together, you may choose to do a scene again from the top, pick a different game, or simply strike it from the record entirely. After cutting a scene, take a short break to gather your thoughts before you continue. In general, world-ending game is a good place to take big swings. This is the very end of your story, and you don't need to worry about consequences down the line or what items to hold on to, or the possibility of being undercut by a failed roll. Instead, have a last dance you can believe in.
Okay. There's a bunch of other prep. There's obviously some ground rules and safety. A lot of good suggestions made in the text. We have pretty comprehensive understanding of the lines and veils that we're using as a table. We've also there's been a month of real time in between, maybe even a little bit more. I'm not sure. I can't tell time anymore. Between the last game and this one, so we've had a lot of time to think about our particular characters, think about the scenes that we're interested in having, thinking about where they're at after the events of the defense of Skydagger.
Speak for yourself. I was head empty until this morning.
To be fair, you have Devin's literally been on tour, pounding that pavement, running for mayor across this great country of ours for the entire time.
Our country's mayor.
There. Exactly. Mayor of Earth.
Finally, a mayor for Earth.
Yeah.
That's what we've been missing this whole time.
Finally, someone's going to clean up the streets, and it's going to be Devin.
The streets of Earth.
I would be the worst mayor ever.
I don't want that.
There's some pretty
I've
bad
seen
ones.
some pretty fucking shitty mayors.
Even if you do nothing, I think that's better than some mayors.
I'm too depressed to be a
so-
politician.
So long as you're not actively bad, because there are a lot of actively bad. It's fine.
Here's the thing. I'm autistic and bad at lying, so therefore I cannot.
You'd be a great mayor.
They've got my vote.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, as GM, I'm the director, and as the director, I am supposed to take the first turn. And so, of course, now I'm looking at the big list of games and trying to choose between between all the different endings and trying to choose my favorite. I think that I've got one, though, and I think that I want to begin with Reverse Heist.
Ooh.
And I'm going to ask everyone to participate, I think this is a mission that multiple people are undertaking. Reversed Heist says, putting something back where it belongs. You have something that must be returned for you or for the world to find closure. Determine the object. This should be something you or your party already carries or something you know is out of place in the world. I think this is the beacon. I I think whatever purpose it has served, whatever good it has wrought, Udet determines that its time has been served and that it needs to be given back to Zel-Sha'el. I don't think she's going to ask people to make the journey to the tomb all the way on the other side of the country. But
I was wondering.
Udet's just like, bitches, don't call me anymore.
my phone keeps ringing. It's a disgrace. But I think she wants it to be. I think she wants it to be buried at sea. I think she wants people to take it out into the encroaching ocean and sink it to the bottom. Pick or roll one of the following descriptors that best fits the object. I'm going to say it is loud. The object emits noise either constantly or periodically. We definitely know that it does that. I think that periodically, even without someone playing it, it emits little abrasive notes of quasi violin music. I think it's also unstable. The object must be treated gently whenever interacted with. This is a weird holy relic. And even if it has been touched by the chosen, it's been touched by the broken as well. And the location. This is likely a place that is already on the map and may be, but maybe if needed somewhere new. I think this is simply dangerous. Going here is a risk. We're setting out onto the ocean, an ocean that wasn't here a couple of months ago, in the middle of winter. And we've seen that there are things lurking within the ocean.
Where the fuck we get a boat?
Great question.
They had boats in the tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
The date, early hours of the morning, I think. And the players. What members of the Legion do we think go on this mission?
Ashling.
Waloot, Ashling.
Is this Freaky Squad?
Now I gotta open the... Is this just the people that went in the tunnels?
Oh, we can't do
might
Freaky
be.
Squad anymore
They're
because
dead.
Gemma died.
No.
Oh yeah, I was gonna suggest Gemma. Now I
Essential
remember.
part of Freaky Squad.
Y'all might want to open up the.
Yeah, I'm opening that now. I'm like,
I have
who is still
so
here?
many tabs. Hold on. I need a third monitor.
Just make a new window and then start more tabs in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then forget about them.
Ezra, because Lance is happy that Ashling has a friend.
Ugh.
100%. Okay, yeah. So Waloot, Ashling, Ezra,
Nabane.
Nabane. Yeah, that makes sense. The plan. Okay, looking down the Forge in the Dark mission approaches, what do you think the plan is? Pick or roll. Shock and awe, sneaky, violence, diplomatic, social, or patience.
Sneaky or
I mean, Ashling and Waloot want violence. That's
Yeah.
This is what we know about them.
I like the idea. I was definitely imagining like a calm, like sunrise, like a vigil, and we're throwing the thing into the sea. But it's way cooler if you're like fending off leviathans with harpoons as you try and get to this particular place to throw this thing into the sea.
Well, I think Ashling would suggest, what if we fed it to a Leviathan?
Yes, 100%. God. Okay, the reversed heist. There's 6 stages to this heist. The scene opens on entry. Imagine a hard cut into this action. Describe where you are, who is with you, what you're doing or holding. There's just like a crack of thunder, and we see everyone in the middle of like just fending these things off of this skiff, this one sail boat. It's snowing, it's cold, it's miserable. The waves are lapping up at it. And there's these just these Leviathan tentacle arms that are just slapping the side of this boat.
Oh, you can't tell icebergs from Leviathans because they like protrude out and like collect a layer of ice on them.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Isn't Waloot friend of Leviathan now, though?
Yes.
A Leviathan. I think Waloot might be looking for that one to feed the violin to.
What's everyone else doing in this scene? Just real quick, real snappy.
Ezra is like preparing and then handing explosives to Ashling.
Excellent.
I think Ashling's trying to drive.
Oh, okay. Well then, doing something that helps with that. I don't know. I don't know anything about those.
Ashling just like
suggest
steering, but also throwing grenades over their shoulder.
So
Some Mario Kart shit.
to steer a sailboat, you generally need somebody at the wheel, and you need somebody manning the ropes. So Ezra could be on the ropes, and Ashling could be at the wheel.
He's a strong,
Okay.
or they're a strong lad.
Nabane has up a map and is attempting to read it and see how it corresponds to the new drowned world.
Of course. Where would Nabane be without maps and documents? Okay, frame the stage, roll 6-sided die. 1 to 2 is a setback, 3 to 6 is progress. It is a 3, we make progress. We go up to the obstacle. What's one of these? What's worse, encountering a Leviathan or encountering an iceberg?
An iceberg because you can't befriend it?
Yes, absolutely. yeah, 100%. Do you wind up just like beached on it? Like it was just under the surface of the water, and now you've like skidded over it.
This was progress, right?
It was, but we hit yeah, you went forward and you hit an obstacle.
What if we're stopping on the iceberg because it's somewhere stable? It is the closest thing we have to stable ground out here, and
sure.
like Nabane can get his bearings a little bit better.
Absolutely. Like this is like somehow like a static point here in the wash. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you orient?
Do we
yourself?
have to break ice to like proceed more? Do you think?
Sure. Absolutely.
I have kind of a cool idea for
Please.
how we would deal with this with like more, the technology in this world.
Uh-huh.
We could like get a bunch of spare rope and like make a chain of rope that we tie explosives to at certain points to like map out a controlled explosion.
Oh, that's really good. I like that a lot.
Cool.
Let's see how it goes. 1. No. Are we just all right? If we get stuck in this reverse heist for the entire night. God. Okay. I think what this is that you get yourself free, but you're no better oriented. How do you find your way?
Maybe Wulut can guide us via stars.
Yeah, it's like less about navigating by, landmarks of the now drowned world, and now it's about like, oh, we have to navigate by the sky again, but people hate that.
Yep.
It's not as simple as just looking up at the sky and knowing where you are. Like, that's not how that works.
Wulut's not a normal person, though.
Yeah, so maybe it's like she's listening to the stars whispering to her.
Right.
I especially like we said, there's lightning and there's snow here, but maybe Wulut can see the stars through that and can hear the stars through that.
And maybe this is like some sort of apocryphal beginning to like, people years in the future will be like using this method to like navigate the world.
Yeah. You find where it is that you need to go. Is there anything particular that you do with this thing? Do you find the Leviathan there waiting for you? Like, is Wulut like trying to use the stars to navigate to that particular Leviathan to feed it the beacon?
Yeah, and maybe the Leviathan is fighting another one for territory when we get there.
Sure, absolutely.
I was going to suggest maybe this works like a dog whistle. Not in the metaphorical sense, but in like an actual dog whistle sense. In terms of like, what if this just brings all the Leviathans to us, including the Leviathan we want?
Oh, but like...
What if the other Leviathans think that Leviathan's a traitor to Leviathan? I don't know.
That Leviathan did get very corrupted by roots.
I'm not sure if they're all that sapient.
What if... Okay. What if... I'm going to tie all this together. Wulut, like, hears the stars and then pulls out the beacon and then just plays a single note in consonant harmony with the song that she hears from the stars.
Yeah.
And the storm settles and the Leviathans begin to bob up, calm, placid, to the surface, including the one that you've seen before, that is a little corrupted, a little scarred up, but is still Wulut's friend.
I'm looking at my epilogue songs. This is Burning Jacob's Ladder. Yes. By Mark Lanigan.
Awesome. What do you do with the beacon?
I think Waloot crawls up to, like, over the thin ice to the one she met, and it opens its gaping mouth. You know, it probably looks like a turtle mouth
Sure.
with all the, like, giant phalanges
Yeah.
to pull in whatever. And she tosses the beacon in, and it gets swallowed whole.
Ashlyn keeps it together.
Good. I'm glad.
This is probably in using the what's the game? The time game. This is a dark scene.
Microscope.
Microscope. Using the microscope parlance, this is probably a dark scene.
Sure. Maybe.
What do you think is like a portent about this? Like, what do you think?
Well, I think, you know, what the implication here is now there's a Leviathan that can hear the Chosen.
Okay. Devin, you're up.
I guess I kind of accidentally set myself up for this, but I didn't have one in mind, but now I kind of want to do the omen.
The Omen. Do you want to read the description?
Yeah, it says, you witness a sign. The end is never without signal. It precedes itself in flares and gasps, sometimes quiet, sometimes loud. And I'm like trying to think of what the timeline for this stuff would be, but this is definitely Aoife, because even though she pulled out her chosen eye and shot it at a dragon, I think there's still like roots in her eye socket that kind of like make her see weird shit. And she's like haunted now, so she sees like ghosts and, you know, all the Crimson Shot trauma.
Yeah, how's Aoife doing?
Not great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that fight was kind of wildly successful. Or not wildly successful as in like we did great and nobody got hurt, but like we got through it.
Done a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got through it. But that took a lot out of everybody involved. So I can't imagine anybody's really in super great state. It might be kind of highish morale from the victories, but also everybody's probably been pushed to their absolute limits.
For sure. Do you have a strong idea of what the Omen is?
No. I mean, some of these things obviously kind of relate to some of the themes.
Sure.
I'm mainly trying to figure out like what the purpose of this omen is. Maybe I guess I should start with the descriptions first. And then
I was going to say, if you don't already have a strong idea, then you could roll and then determine from those prompts maybe what it is and where you see it and why you're seeing it.
Sure.
If you're so
I'm down for
inclined.
some chaos. I got a D6 right here. I'm going to do a physical roll for the first time in this campaign.
Dang.
All right, that's a 4. A person. A 2. Stuck in time. Sounds like a ghost so far.
Mm-hmm.
On the tongue.
Oh? Oh, yeah?
Rotting.
On the tongue?
Rotting.
Rotting.
Huh?
Oh, God.
Oh my God, is this ruined?
It's fine.
Maybe.
Aoife sees the Never King. What do we call them? The Cinder King?
Yeah, the Cinder
The
King.
voice of the dead god.
Oh yeah.
The tongue.
Ooh,
But like the rotting made me think of ruin as well.
Absolutely. I mean, ruins in a real bad way.
Yeah.
And very likely would have gone crawling to the voice of the dead god to be reinvigorated in that way.
Oh yeah. What if there's like a brightness to them that like almost like photosynthesizes ruin?
Absolutely, yeah.
And maybe
But
not like a literal photosynthesis, but like a
but
metaphorical.
is providing that power, is filling them with that fire of divinity that was taken out of them when they were broken, that they replaced it with.
All right. Well, it says, determine what it is you witness, where and how you see it, and what you take it to mean, and what you do with this knowledge. You may roleplay seeing this omen or simply describe it. I'm just trying to figure out like how I would come to see this.
It could be in a dream. It could be in a reflection that you keep seeing things that you wish you hadn't seen.
Yeah, or like, you know how you have like phantom limb after people lose a limb, like phantom visions from this eye you don't have anymore.
Oh, and well, what if it's also kind of connected to the like sky shit? Because she doesn't have any corruption, but she has something going on that's related to whatever happened to Loot as well, because she was harnessing the power of the stars.
Do you start to have visions as if you can see down from the stars?
Well, yeah, I think when she dreams, she can like astrally project from her body and kind of like fly around.
Yeah. As if you were stars descending. I think you can see far to the west this power and ruin desperate to be made whole again, to be made one of purpose. But I think that favor is withheld. I think the Cinder King has had about enough of everything that Ruin has to offer, has found them wanting, and lets them rot to their last.
Whew. Good news and bad news with this one. Good news is that,
does that work for you? Do we want to have something more?
I like that. No, I think that kind of leans into one of the potential paths I was going to follow with Aoife tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's why I was about to say good news, bad news. Good news, one of our greatest enemies is in a weakened state. Bad news, Aoife might leave on her own to go deal with this.
Yeah. I think somewhere out there is a rotting tree that was once Kasharban that will not last the winter.
She wakes up, has a very serious, ponderous morning.
I bet.
And doesn't talk to anybody.
Okay. Gavin.
I was the one with the least ideas for scenes, so this is a little tough.
Do you want suggestions?
Kind of want to do a passing the torch, but I don't know who passes what to who. Maybe this is Lance and Thar, or... No, because, like, we've set up that story, but I really don't like that story of, like, Thar becoming, or Lance even becoming important.
I think Lance is important, whether or not he wants to be.
Yeah. Well, he wants to be important.
Whether or not
Right.
you want him to be.
Yeah, whether or not you want him to be, I think he is important. Later, I'm going to have Nabane get in an argument with Lance at some point about the, like, abandoning Thar thing. So... maybe we have that scene first before a potential passing of the torch.
Sure. Do we? Should we jump to that one then? Or
so either Matthew could take his turn now, and you could take your turn then, or you could pass, and we'll get to it. Well, I guess I don't want you to skip 2 turns, but
right.
I don't really want to pass either.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just do an anime music video.
Hell yeah.
For shits and giggles.
Totally. To be clear to the listener, anime music video is one of the ending games in this game.
Our own private fan cam. Select a song.
Yeah, the other thing is all of us have come up with playlists, which, due to the nature of this as a podcast, I don't know how many of them that we can share, but...
we can probably share the playlist, but just not play the songs now.
100%.
And, like, I'm guessing in the description of this episode, we could just put the big collated playlist.
Yeah, I'll probably do that.
You select from the following phrases to start your sentences, finishing them by filling out and embellishing as needed. For instance, I float in the water could become, I float in the water, drifting my eyes closed, hair around me in a tangle that echoes the shape of the reeds. Director, be ready to interject with camera directions between phrases. For instance, I float in the water, maybe followed by the camera zooms out, your shape losing detail as it rises and pans up to see the house on the shore. You may wish to keep the camera directions sheet handy for this game. Once everyone is ready, hit play, or if playing online, count down and play together. Continue narrating, choosing phrases, and interjecting camera directions until the song ends. I'm going with Y by Anna RF.
Who is this a video for?
This is my Lark fan cam. I am silhouetted against the sun, crouched on a cliff, peering over the people below. The landscape passes by, showing a journey across rooftops. We're in the city, the capital.
We see like after images of people living their lives peacefully.
Over Lark's shoulder, we see the synagogue where her father is sermonizing. We're inside the synagogue, and as he's speaking, he suddenly pauses and looks out the window. There's nothing there.
Willard's listening in the rafters. We see some rapid cuts of like other named characters, other people in the Legion, just quiet, just doing their things, tending to armor, practicing, training rookies, safe.
A bird on a branch sings, so we don't hear it in the video, but it's opening its mouth, clearly making noise. It's a lark. I pull my jacket over my head. It's embroidered poorly with patches, names, practice stitches. Nothing really noteworthy, but not even aesthetic.
The sun is bright. There's no gloom here. There's no dark. Where does Lark go?
We're in Sofina's office. Sofina, we see her back as we creep closer. The camera swaps to a zoom in on Sofina's lips, just the corner of her smile. And the camera rises to her eyes as she opens them.
Kris, it is your turn.
All right, the confession. Let's go.
Oh, shit.
Let's go.
We're in it.
Listen, this is a game for taking big swings. Let's go. So the confession, alternate title, I suppose, in brackets, the lie. Active player is confessing. They may request any number of other characters join the scene, including non-player characters. These characters may excuse themselves from the scene if they do not want to hear the confession. Explain why it is that you are not there. This is not a reveal or a twist. This is a confession. This is a confession. No. This may be something the table already knows, even if their characters do not. This may also be something you or the director know about your character or the world, but is new to the other characters or players. Regardless, nothing is being invented here. Instead, it is being spoken. So active player answer, why are you confessing this truth now? What was it that stayed your hand until this point? Who do you think will gain by this knowledge? Who do you think will suffer for it? So this is Dorado confessing to the Constant Legion that she killed Azar, or
To the whole
let a group
Legion?
of people. It's Legion business.
Just host a meeting, group meeting, everybody.
I was picturing as the earliest that things are kind of stable here in Skydagger. And, it's not going to be everyone, because there's going to be people who are injured or sick and people who are tending to the people who are injured and sick, because both the Mercies are dead now. There's going to be people on patrols. There's going to be people who are asleep. It's not going to be, she can't talk to everyone at once, probably, but as many people as she can get in one space at a time, which is probably during some kind of meal.
She doesn't even talk to the leadership first?
No, well, I mean, that goes to answer another question, right? Like, part of what stayed her hand to this point was that, like, yeah, we need to get to somewhere stable. Like, after you know, Ozar had been murdered, it was like, okay, we need to get to somewhere stable before, like, because it took a lot of doing to get the Legion, like, all as one thing.
No
and
time
like,
to talk.
Yes, and now, pardon?
Said no time to talk.
There is no time to talk. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no time to talk, and also, like, if I say anything, this could all fall apart again, and that
Yep.
isn't great for anyone. But then, like, the next question, who do you think will gain by this knowledge? I mean, if she just starts with the leadership, like, I think her concern there is that, like, oh, that just, like, opens the door for Lance to be like, I'm the new commander. I'm Azar now.
Yeah, just spread the rumor to everyone else
Yeah.
in a way that she can't
Like,
control.
it makes it way too easy for, like, it gives Lance time to, like, set up his play. Like, no, fuck that.
Gotcha.
To be fair, I don't
Yeah,
think Lance would want to like completely exile Dorado. I think he sees use in her.
Let's wait and see.
Well, yeah,
Let's wait
but-
and see what
Yeah,
happens.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, maybe, but, like, you know, I think she's trying to do this in the way that gives him the least advantage.
I want to know two things. One, what is the time frame? Is this a month after the battle?
I mean, I don't know how long is winter, first of all, and secondly, yeah, how long would it take for people to kind of, you know, not be like, oh, everything's good and great and fine, because that's not how this world works.
Yeah.
But, like, for people to have reached, like, some kind of, like, oh, there's routine here now, there's stability. It's like, okay, we are deep into this winter,
Yeah.
and, like, the, you know, never aren't going to come crashing through the walls.
I think the first question, I don't know how long winter is, but I think it's a month before people are like, they're not coming back. We're not safe, but we're good.
Yeah, it felt like it would be a couple of weeks.
I think
so a
just
month.
Just the idea of like sitting there for a month is so strange after the year we've experienced.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think there's so much
Yeah.
to repair, and there's so many people that are hurt.
Yeah.
That a month
Yeah.
makes more sense than a couple of
A
weeks.
month makes sense.
Because there's so much
Yeah.
repair that has to happen.
Yeah. And also a month is like, by a month past, you're past the point of like, oh, it feels weird to just be sitting down.
Absolutely.
You know, at that point, it's like sitting down is part of your day.
Yeah.
You understand that you have that time to just like, and now is my couple of hours to just be in a room and think, I guess. Ugh.
Yeah. All right. Second question. Who is there? I want this on paper. who's in the room?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, y'all tell me.
All right. Yeah. All right. Everyone is gonna name a character until we're done naming characters. Matthew, you're first.
Nabane.
Nabane. I am gonna name Nikolaj. Devin.
Lance.
Lance. Gavin.
Aoife.
Aoife. Chris.
Oh, I'm getting to name
Absolutely.
people too. Okay. I really want Zex of Azar there.
Yes. Matthew.
Thar.
Thar. All right, let me double check who is alive. Waloot. Waloot is in the room. Devin.
Ashling.
Ashling. Gavin.
Suleiman.
Suleiman.
That's what I was just thinking about too.
Chris. Maybe last one.
Oh, sure. Oh, well,
I have a
who
pitch.
else exists? Go for it, because I'm just scrolling through names.
Did we already say Udet?
No.
Nope.
Oh, shit, no.
Udet. All right.
Good
10
lord.
people in the room. Dorado, you have the table.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think people are like eating, doing whatever. I think that, I don't know if it's the sort of thing where like every now and then it's just like, hey, here's just like a check-in, how's everyone doing, to like whichever room of people is there. So this is not like, this kind of like Dorado addressing a room isn't entirely out of nowhere until it becomes so. But I think she starts with just like, it's been a month, long month, short month. Glad to see everyone continuing along. Always glad to see our consonant legion. But even though routine's been established here, and it's a weird routine, there's pauses, there's space, there's time that is strange to have gotten used to. Things don't stay static in the Constant Legion for long, do they?
Hurrah!
Now, anyone who is familiar with me, which by this point should be most of you, sort of like looking out around the room of people, will know that I'm not a fan of decisions being made for me, of choices being made for me. And I'm also not a fan of making decisions and choices for others broadly, situation to situation, but we're getting into specifics that I don't need to get into here. What I mean to say is, it shouldn't come as a surprise to any of you, any of the Consonant Legion. I'm about to deprive you of a commander.
People nervously glancing at one another.
What? What does this mean?
Lance like coughs a little bit and side eyes her.
Deprive of a commander? What? Is she stepping down?
What?
Yeah. And then just like, sort of like deep inhalation. I feel like the camera shifts from being like, a medium shot of Dorado to just like one of the crowd from kind of her point of view. Like, in the capital, in Navarra, I killed a Tsar of Draknor. And then there's just like a hush. Because like, that's not, or I assume for most people that wasn't the answer they were expecting. Can we just get like a bunch of like quick cut shots to various people's faces as they kind of process that information, whether it's like news or not?
Nabane is immediately worried and stands up to begin to move towards Dorado.
Nikolaj.
Scared.
I feel like Nikolaj has been reading while this was happening and just doesn't look up from his book. Or like, like an eyebrow cocks and like makes a note somewhere in that book.
Out of an old habit, just remembering where the closest exit is.
But also he had like he was like spy master. He had asked Dorado about that and she'd been like, no, it was never. I don't know.
That's right.
I was like, okay, I see.
Yeah, Lance.
Lance is thinking of a quip.
Aoife.
I think she was like a little bit high and is like, what? Like eyes just like wide.
Zex. Is that another Devin character?
No.
I think Sex was math.
That's probably
yeah.
Yeah.
Wall gang.
Yeah, I think Zek stands up and draws a sword.
Thar.
I think Thar like stands up and knocks over like his chair.
Waloot.
Waloot is picking her nails with a knife, sort of half listening.
Ashling.
Surprised. Average surprise.
Gotcha. Suleiman is quiet. Doesn't react. Udet. Gavin, thoughts here? Or anyone have thoughts here?
I think Udet like clasps her four hands together and, whispers a prayer to herself.
Lance, how do you break the silence?
I've always wanted to fight a Tsar. How was he in battle?
I've said this to others before, but at the end of the day, he was just a man.
I think the camera, like intercut with this, has like Azar and Dorado looking back and forth across the wall at one another.
You declined to share the events preceding this event.
Dorado is fine, and I did.
Well, are we going to have any context?
I've told you what you need to know, Abuna Lance. And I've told all of you, because this is Legion business, and so I put it to you, the Legion. What'll become of me? What do I deserve? And then just like sits down.
Who are you gonna kill next? Shouts Thar.
There's shouts of like you deserve death, right? Like there's fights happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I think expect so. I kind of like the scene ending there, if I can. Like on like people breaking into like shouts of like people, alternately like starting to fight or getting rowdy, getting worked up.
Yeah.
And people also trying to be like, hey, what if we don't immediately move to swords? And someone being like, hey, Dorado, maybe you should leave this room.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Aoife sees Nabane kind of do that like movement towards her, and she kind of does the same thing on the opposite side of the room.
Uh-huh. Good and great.
It's fine.
It is not. I'm just going to come out and say it. It's not.
We don't have a trial one of these, do we?
We've already had
There's like
more
taking
trials.
the fall.
Trials
another
are
trial.
fun, Brendan.
Trials are fun.
Why is everyone a lawyer?
Get on board.
Let's just interject Matthew's lawyer game.
Oh my god, no, not that game.
Boy, oh boy.
There's a bunch of lawyer games, aren't there?
There are.
Yeah,
We're not gonna do this. We're not doing this. We're being good play testers.
it's true. Speaking of which, Matthew, it is your turn.
Yeah. Fuck.
Do we
well,
not know how that one resolves? It just ends in chaos.
I think it just ends in chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just ends in the room breaking into.
Yeah. See, I had been thinking about doing a tableau just to get a sense of like what's the mood like. I don't think I need to do that anymore. God, maybe now's the time for the Azar ending that I had in mind. I think I'm gonna just do this as the reveal. This should be pretty short, I think. And plus, it's really nice because in the book, the reveal is sort of set up as a comparison point to the confession. Anyway, I'll just read. The reveal, showing your hand. Whereas the confession tells the player characters something the table may already know, the reveal is for the audience. This is not the place to invent new things, but rather shows us a truth about the world. Your character's past or current actions, factional or political motivations, or any other movements that have been taking place off-screen. Describe what the camera sees as it frames an image away from past actions. We see a ruined watchtower. Long ago, when the Empire was strong, the forest had a number of fantastic watchtowers, just massively tall, incredible engineering efforts put into these. When the Empire fell, so did the watchtowers. This one's been refurbished. It's dark. It's a dark night. The forest trees are moving, but we can see lights from within the watchtower.
What season is it?
It is midsummer. There's insects buzzing, right? And the camera, I think, goes in. This is me taking the camera a little bit. Maybe Brendan and I have one hand each on the camera here.
But when there was one set of footprints, what happened then? That was when you were on my shoulders holding the camera.
Yeah, we had to really get a good tall shot.
Yeah.
So we zoom in and we see a young Azar. Young Azar. I'm thinking like 10 or 12. I don't know exactly how Arcadian's like age. But that's how he would read to the camera, right?
How do we know it's Azar?
He is playing with toy soldiers.
Okay.
He still has both his eyes. There are no scars. His horns are little nubby things. They barely extend past the edge of his head. And above him are a whole bunch of adults. And what they are doing is they are planning a coup. This includes his mother, who is in fact leading this meeting. And she's the reason that Azar is here in the first place, and why he's distracted with toys. They've gathered a whole bunch of nobles together, or she has gathered a whole bunch of nobles together with their own private armies. And they're planning to march on the capital. And they're celebrating tonight because they've found something really special. An artifact of the old empire. A pure black knife. Which no one wants to hold. But it's just sort of sitting in the middle of the table.
Is there like a thick cloth under it, so that if they have to transport it, they can wrap it up in the cloth?
Yes, it's in fact, it's a reliquary, right? It's chosen skin that the knife is placed upon. And then the scene breaks, because what happens is there are the sounds of armored footsteps outside coming up the steps. And this next part is chaos I think we see it framed from the young Azar's perspective. So we only see, like the bottom half of adults' sort of bodies as they rush to board the door, and his mother picks him up and loosens a stone in the watchtower and pushes him through, and then calls him, and she tells him that she loves him, and she passes him the knife, folded, surrounded in the reliquary. And then the door breaks down, and she yells for him to run. And then there's the sound of violence, but there's a worse sound. There's his father's voice yelling commands. And that's the last time Azar sees his mom.
We don't see the battle. We see Vaughn, born of Renwall, standing over the violence, searching, just with his eyes, filled forevermore with regret. Oathsworn is an actual play podcast created by
Devin Nelson,
Gavin Fregeau,
Kris Allison,
Matthew Guzdial,
and me, Brendan McLeod. All music for the show is created by Devin Nelson. Find it and more at devindecibel.bandcamp.com. Find a link to their music and any of the games that we've played in the podcast description. Follow us at @OathswornPod on Twitter or at oathswornpodcast.com. If you enjoyed the show, please consider sharing it with a friend or rating us 5 stars on your podcast platform of choice. Until next time.